oh boy, I really thought Jack was going to make it this time.
What? I really thought Jack was going to make it this time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Welcome back to Recommendations Required, a podcast where two best friends try to find their next obsession, and maybe so will you. I'm Ryan Mione.
And I'm Glenn Brown.
And we're back with episode 31. Man, I am just on autopilot. Like, I haven't done that in a while. It's just locked in. But yeah, it's been a hot second since we've recorded our last episode. I think
holidays were happening, and
it's funny. I was editing the Claus episode. I forgot to post an episode, because the holidays hit, and then all idea of time or anything, or like, is just gone. Were you the one that said to me that like the time between Christmas Eve and New Year's Day it's like nobody knows what day it is and nobody knows what time it is?
Yeah.
So that was me. So that's
it's impossible to decipher. Yeah.
So that was my bad. But it was funny. I'm editing and I posted it, the Claus episode, and we're like, oh, we're getting the Christmas spirit. It's like January 15th.
Yeah.
It's like
we missed it so bad.
We need to maybe not do episodes that are based on anything that's time relevant.
Yes.
Just
yep.
So
we need to be completely removed from the time continuum.
Yeah, exactly. So we do have some things to review, some things to recommend, some mom phrases, but I do have an opener for us.
Okay. Okay.
I think I have the segment name for this. Review. Wait, what is it? Reviews reveal.
Oh, okay.
I read movie reviews and see if it reveals the movie.
Okay. Okay. So this is the one where I'm guessing the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. I like this. Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking too, you mentioned at one point, I was like, we should just come up with like a little jingle at the beginning and a little logo pops up for all these.
Yeah.
Spend too much time on it.
Yes, of course.
But I'm pretty happy with these. These are some good ones.
I did start working on a jingle for the Name the Game game.
This is so good.
But I am incapable of doing stuff like that, so I need to recruit someone who actually does music for that.
If only we knew people that did music.
Oh, man.
All right. So I'm going to say up front, if you guess any of these by the third, like before the third review, I'll be incredibly impressed.
Okay.
Most of this is a challenge mode.
Okay. So these are hard. These are very difficult.
These are really hard, if not impossible.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it. Hit me.
Okay. I just want to make sure. Okay. So this is the first one. I'm gonna bleep out one word. Okay.
Okay.
I believe this movie is the start of a cultural shift wherein society began its ultimate and soon to be final decline. The introduction of blank into the fast food brain chemicaled American populace sparked something furious, dumb, and evil. Every time you watch this movie or one in the ever-expanding franchise, it is like it's like taking a big gulp from a Roman lead pipe aqueducts, but worse.
What? What? Okay, what? So is this Letterbox again?
I think this one's the hardest.
Is this Letterbox again?
Yeah, this is Letterbox.
Okay, get off your high horse, whoever this is. Oh my god.
No,
Okay, so they are saying this movie marks a decline in human society.
And
there was a reference to fast food in there? They're talking about fast food and a big gulp?
Introduced in the introduction of blank into the fast food brain chemicaled American populace sparked something.
They're just throwing that at America. Got it.
The fast food, I would say the fast food doesn't have to do anything. The introduction of something is actually a key point, and there's another hint in here, but I'm not going to tell you.
The introduction it introduced something that declined society.
Yeah, and then I would say I'll give you the other hint that's in here. Every time you watch this movie or one in the ever-expanding franchise.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so I'm picturing big franchise. I'm my gut reaction is Star Wars because just so many people hate on Star Wars.
Man, that feels like a rough review for Star Wars.
Oh yeah, definitely. Man.
You won't get it, but
expanding universe. I mean, I do not share this opinion, but I'll go with Star Wars: A Phantom Menace.
No, it is not Star Wars Phantom Menace.
Okay.
I'll be so kind to you. It's not a Star Wars film.
Okay. I'm not even in the right franchise. Okay.
All right. Here's another big hint. Who made this movie? Because it certainly wasn't Illumination.
Is Illumination a company?
Mm-hmm. It's like a DreamWorks, Illumination, Pixar.
Okay. So I don't know if they're saying it's bad because Illumination didn't make it. Is Illumination good? I'm assuming it's an animated film now.
This one is 4 stars and a heart. And the last one was 1 star.
Okay. So this person likes it. I'm going to say it's animated if it's Illumination.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. That narrows it down.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's 4 stars. Okay. So Illumination is bad and they're saying this is good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think so.
Wow. This is tough. I don't know my animated series that well. Have I seen the series?
I'll be very surprised if you haven't seen the movie.
Okay. Is it Shrek?
You definitely know about it.
Is it Shrek?
That's a really great guess. It's not Shrek, and Shrek is DreamWorks.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of something that's not Illumination, right? Because they
Who
said
made this movie? Because it certainly wasn't Illumination.
Oh, are they saying? Oh, okay. So Illumination did make it, and they're saying like, wait, this shouldn't have come out of Illumination. Okay, maybe. I got it now. Okay, I got it. Okay, hit me with another one. I couldn't name a single movie that Illumination has made. I have no idea of what this company puts out.
He's the father that stepped up.
What? He's the father that stepped up. Can I get the stars on this review?
That's 3 stars.
3 stars.
I don't know if that helps you.
He's the father that stepped. Who is a father figure in an animated kids movie? I'm assuming.
This is so good.
Wow,
it's so good because there are these reviews that are nothing that give you just the tiniest bit of information.
Wow, I have no concept of this.
Yeah.
How to Train Your Dragon? I don't.
It's a good guess. It's not How to Train Your Dragon.
Is that Illumination? I don't know.
No,
I don't know Illumination movies.
Here's another one.
Okay.
This one I think starts to give it away.
Okay. Well, clearly I'm not getting it, so maybe I need it.
Vector rubbing his whole ass on the keyboard is essentially how I write papers in college.
Okay. This is Despicable Me. Okay. Wow. What does it introduce that like people hate? Minions. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, right? Yeah. You're like, that's a harsh review. I'm like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, no, I'm with the person.
Yeah. And then
from the first review, I understand.
The other review was, this is the only time the minions weren't completely annoying.
Okay. I got it on 4th one.
I think
Vector gave it away. I knew Vector. Yeah.
Yep. And then he's the father that stepped up. Okay.
Yep. Okay, it's all falling together now.
Here's the next movie.
You got another one. Okay.
I got 3.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
So, haha, wow, effed up if true.
Okay, that gives me nothing.
Okay.
Effed up if true. I'm going to assume something wild happens in it, so I'm going to assume historical documentary or horror movie. A Quiet Place.
No.
Okay.
Nothing has ever wrecked me like this. I repeat, no life event in the history of the world holds a candle to the awesome, inedible wrecking power of this film.
Wow.
5 stars.
These are movies, right? Movies.
Yeah.
These are not TV
movies.
shows.
No,
Okay. Wow. Okay. So this movie wrecked this person. Okay. Barbie.
No.
Oh, okay. Okay.
In quotation marks, winning that ticket was the best thing that ever happened to me. And then the reviewer says, was it though?
Is this Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
No.
Oh, man. Okay. Winning a ticket.
Let me in your brain. What are we thinking?
Okay. So, I mean, the first one doesn't give me a lot to go off of. The second one, this person clearly is like really emotionally damaged or like it touched them. For the second one, it could go two directions, which is really tough. And then the third one, I'm like trying to think of something where they won a ticket to something. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, okay, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I mean, like they're getting ticket. Like obviously Charlie gets a ticket, but also
I think it's a good guess.
Also, the kids go through some horrific things. The kids killed every 5 minutes of that movie.
I think this one might give it away.
Okay, well,
did James Cameron really think that he could steal the quote unquote "I'd rather be his whore than your wife," or "I'd rather be his whore than your wife" quotation line from Twin Peaks, and that no one would notice?
What? Okay, I'm not familiar with that line. And I don't know directors very well, so I don't know James Cameron's movies very well. I mean, I know James Cameron, but I couldn't name like a James Cameron movie, which is my problem here. What was the line? I'm going to make you repeat it.
Yeah. I'd rather be his whore than your wife.
Huh. Okay, so maybe we got like a woman cheating kind of thing. Going on like a psychological drama.
This like game is so much more fun when you know what it is, because you're like hitting all the right, you're getting all the right clues, but you're not like.
I'm trying. The hard part is to keep in mind the previous hints. I keep forgetting what they are as soon as I get new information.
I'll give you a hint about the hint. Maybe the first hint is sarcastic.
What was the first review again? I'm sorry, I'm making you repeat so much.
Haha, wow, effed up if true.
Okay. It's sarcastic. Okay. Someone's winning a ticket, and this woman would rather... I'm confused by that line, too. Okay. Hold on. I gotta think of something. I gotta make a guess. Wolf on Wall Street. I don't know.
Oh, that's a good guess.
No. Okay.
Okay, here's the last clue. Oh boy, I really thought Jack was gonna make it this time.
What? I really thought Jack was gonna make it this time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I'm sorry. I love when it hits me.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's the Titanic?
Yeah, it's the Titanic. Oh, so good.
Okay. That first review just really clicked for me.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's good. Okay. Okay, that's good. That's good stuff.
That was a good one. All right. Yeah. Last film. Here we go.
One more. Okay.
All right. Nostalgia prevents me from disliking this film in any possible way, and I couldn't be happier about it.
Okay. Nostalgia makes this okay. So they're holding on to this movie. It's probably bad and doesn't age well, but nostalgia is making it hold out.
Yeah, nostalgia prevents me from disliking this movie.
Okay.
If in any possible way, and I couldn't be happier about it.
Man. I mean, on the first one, I just have no information. The Santa Claus.
No.
Okay.
It's not the Santa Claus.
Okay.
All right, here's a big hint.
Okay.
I think we can all be honest and admit this is Pixar's most underrated movie potentially to date, right?
Okay, it's a Pixar. Underrated. Man. I've definitely ranked all of the Pixar movies like in my at one point, so I feel like I know them all. Is this Luca?
No, not Luca.
No, okay.
But see, I feel like that was a bad guess because you said nostalgia.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's got to be older. It's got to be older. Sorry, that was a bad guess. Okay,
you're good.
I said the guess. I said the guess. Give me the third.
Yep. Do not okay, in quotations, Mark. Do not listen to them. They are poo-poo heads. And then quotations is quite possibly the greatest piece of advice I've ever received.
Oh man, I just want to look up a list of Pixar movies now, but I'm not going to do it.
No,
I'm not going to do it.
I'll allow you.
Okay. Okay, hold on. I'm going to cheat and look up a list of Pixar movies because it's bugging me so bad. Okay. Pixar movie list. Hello, Google. Okay. What was the line that you just said? There isn't that many Pixar movies. Okay.
Do not listen to them. They are poo-poo heads.
Do not listen to them. They are poo-poo heads. Wow. Monsters, Inc.?
No.
No. Wow. Okay.
Okay. This is going to give it away.
Okay.
This is in all caps, 5 stars. They loved it. This is an elite movie. If you disagree, I'm going to assume you're an evil capitalist grasshopper in disguise.
This has got to be Ants, right? Bug's Life.
Final guess?
Bug's Life. It's a Bug's Life.
It is Bug's Life.
Okay,
correct.
Bug's Life is not Pixar though.
Yeah, it is.
It is not on the Pixar list.
I'm pretty sure it's Pixar. Yeah, it's Pixar.
Okay.
And then I had to include this last review because I laughed so hard at it. So in Letterboxd, if you see if your review has spoilers, it covers it, and then you have to click on it to read it.
Oh, interesting.
And so
okay,
this review had 2.5 stars and it had a spoiler on it, and then if you click it, it just says bugs with a Z. And I like that one. That one was just fun.
Nice.
Bugs.
Nice. I almost locked in Ants, which is like the off-brand of Bug's Life. That would have been real bad. That would have been embarrassing.
That would have been absolutely wild.
Oh man. Okay, those were all fire. That was good stuff.
All right.
Oh man, the Titanic one just really.
The Titanic was a good one.
Really got me.
So good.
Oh, okay. I love that game. That was a good one.
Yeah, I did too.
Thank you for bringing that to the podcast today.
And speaking of movies, you have a movie to review.
I do. Yes.
All right. Let me have it. Where are we at with it?
So I watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem.
Mm-hmm.
The film released in 2023.
Correct.
I convinced my wife to watch this with me.
Oh.
She is not really a movie person in general.
Mm-hmm.
But I got it for some reason. She was like, "Sure, I'll watch it with you." And then I told her it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and she's like, "Never mind, I am not watching that with you." And then I was like, "No, like it's like an animated. It's not the live action one you're thinking of. It's the animated fun one." And she's like, "Oh, okay, fine, I'll watch it." Right off the bat, I was blown away by this movie. Okay, I think you prefaced with this last episode, but like animation in this movie is wild. It's is so crazy. Amazing, and I love all of it.
Yep.
Like it definitely has a little bit of that. It has its own unique style.
Yep.
That gives me the vibes of Spider-Verse.
Mm-hmm.
And even a little Blue Eye Samurai in the way that it is unique to this property.
Yeah.
Like it is not the same animation, but it's got such a very unique style that just pops so well.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was like from the moment I started watching this movie, I'm like, I'm gonna love this. This is gorgeous to watch.
It's amazing.
And as the movie went on, I was like, I was thinking to myself, if this movie had zero plot, I would still love it. I would still enjoy watching every second of this movie because it's so captivating to look at.
Yeah.
Even if it had zero plot. But so then, of course, it has a great plot too.
Yeah.
Man, I like this is going to be one of those episodes where it's just a rave sesh about this movie because it is a great movie. Yeah, but right off the bat, animation hit me. I was like, oh, this is
it
gorgeous.
Clicked for you like early
I love
on.
it. It's like the best way I could describe the animation was it was almost like someone did a claymation movie and then sketched over top of it.
Oh, interesting.
Like it had the like characters had like claymation type vibes, you know. Clearly it's like all animated. It's not actual claymation, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But then like there would be these elements of like smoke or like the
lights or
the lights
like,
and like
rays.
the elements that are giving it more depth. Those would almost have like a sketch pad look to it.
Yeah.
And like the combination of the two was just like so cool to like look at and see how they were using it and stuff. And then the music started hitting. I was like, man, the music in this movie is so good. Like, oh man, I'm trying to think of specific examples for music because there were so many times where the music would hit and I'd be like, oh yeah, let's jam. Like when you first meet the main villain who
is Ice Cube.
And he is called Superfly, and he is a mutant fly that's like human sized, you know? But like literally the first time you see this guy, his henchmen step out of a car with a jukebox or like a it's not a jukebox. It's a what's the like a boombox. They step out of this car with a boombox and hit play, and they're playing the song Superfly.
Yeah.
And I just love the vibe of he's telling these guys to step out of a car, get my intro music playing, and then I'll step out of my car. Like, and he's got my god.
Yeah.
So good. And Ice Cube, I'm just going to keep going one point to the next. The casting is so good. Like
good.
all of the turtles had like really great like teenage sounding voices that just like really did well with their characters. You got Jackie Chan as Splinter. You got Ice Cube as Superfly. I was like trying to pick out all the voices because I knew it was going to be like club banger voices.
Post Malone,
Post Malone was in there. Seth Rogen, yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. But yeah, the music was like so perfectly mixed in with the scenes that were happening and stuff. Yeah. I'm on a ramble now. Like what?
No, yeah. I think it's just one of those movies that like. It found its like nook, like its niche, like it figured out what it was and it just executed that perfectly. And I think, you know, I'll touch on the music, but like with Blue Eye Samurai and Claws, like we talked about, there were just these music moments for me that really pulled me out because they didn't fit the rest of the aesthetic that has been built. Yeah. And it's like, it's not really that big of a deal, but it really pulls me out. I feel like this movie, everything's in unison. Everything's in harmony.
Yes. Yeah.
And they do. And like everything's grungy. It all just like all the humans look horrible and weird.
Yeah.
And like that's great because that also plays into the story.
Yes.
You
know?
It
does.
And it's like everything. It feels like there was just so much love and thought put into this. And yeah, I agree. I think it's a really, really great film. I'm trying to think if there's anything specific I was curious about. Like I know some people have talked about how the voices, they thought they would be annoying because the voices are teenagers.
Yep.
They're all real teenagers and they're all doing the lines in a room and like most of it's ad lib. Like they're just kind of riffing off of each other.
That fits the character so well.
It feels real. Like it feels
like a bunch of teens joking around.
It doesn't feel like an adult being like, okay, now be like a teenager. And like the other movie that I think really captured that well was the first It. Like the newest installment. Like that they felt like real teenagers in that as well, which is a hard, really, really hard thing to write in or like produce.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm trying to I
feel like there were so many points in this movie where I was just so happy with the choices they were making.
Yeah.
You know, like something would happen and I'd be like, it's just perfect. Like that's a great way to do this, you know?
Yeah.
I loved, for example, that like one of the turtles kind of like falls for a human, like starts having a crush on a human, and I was so happy. This sounds so silly, but I was so happy that it wasn't like a very stereotypical white chick who's like the popular girl at school or something. Like it was like this
She's
very
also
like
an outsider.
hipster, off-brand outsider person, you know, and like I loved that choice because it like fits with them and their group and how like she wants to fit in as well.
I also liked how the like Superfly wasn't immediately built out as evil. Like you saw his beginning, you understood where he's coming from, and then he like partners with it. He's like, hey, this is what we're going to do. And they're like, actually, like we don't really vibe with that. And it just creates some cool tension there. And like, I think I've seen films do that where it feels really forced. Like it feels like the bad guy's like, you should join me. And this felt a little bit more like, better executed.
Yes. Yeah. Like there's a part of you that wants to get behind and feel sympathetic for the villain. I feel like that's that always makes it better. Yeah,
exactly. You get where you have to understand their motivation. You have to understand where they're coming from. I think the only thing that threw me off a little bit was when he like mutated really big.
Yeah,
that was the only part where I was like, I don't know why this is like pushing me a little bit. And I'm like, this feels a little out of place, but also
just
like
real
doesn't.
Wild with it.
And it's just but it's also great, and I loved it. Like he has his leg made of like all the horses.
They're
it's just so,
they're
it's
like
so
good choices at the same time.
I know,
like they're really going for it, and it like fits with what they're doing at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like I had a couple complaints, and I'm already forgetting them.
I'm trying to. I thought one thing that was also interesting. So I watched a movie recently that I hated. It was an animated film.
Okay.
And, we can get into it if we want, but like, there's been this thing with a couple animation films recently where the animation has overwhelmed me, and I don't know how to explain it. It's like the second Spider-Verse was a little bit like that, but that was. I could explain why that felt like a lot because they're doing so much stylistically.
Sure. Yeah.
But it was this Kraken film that came out, and then this other one called Strange Worlds with like Jake Gyllenhaal. And I don't know how to explain it. It just like made me feel weird. Like I just couldn't keep up with it. It just like I finished watching those films. I'm like I just feel like wrong.
Like overwhelmed?
Yeah, like maybe overstimulated or something. But it was just like for films that shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But then I think about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I'm like, that should have been over like too much.
It seems like it would be,
but it's not. I never felt like I was like, oh, this is too much. So it's just like it's been this thing I've been trying to like figure out where I'm like, I think when you build a world and then things just don't interact in the way that you have stated beforehand, like a character's too cartoony. Yeah, I think it feels really like weird, like that person doesn't belong in that world anymore. Yeah, and I think with this one, like, I think also I'll throw this. I think I mentioned there's one scene. Because I pitched this to you so long ago, so I was like, there's one scene in this movie that like for me was like it clicked so hard, it was so dope. I was like so in love with it on an editing standpoint. And I'm curious if you know what scene I'm talking about.
Oh man, a specific scene? Oof, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Fine. There's a montage where they're like fighting all the crime bosses.
Yep.
I thought that thing was so
it was great.
Perfectly executed.
Yes.
It was just so good. And I was like absolutely in love with it.
Yeah. I think one of the things I was thinking during the movie was I feel like they couldn't have done it another way. I think it was very fitting for the movie, but the movie is so rooted in 2023. Like,
interesting.
If you took the movie and sent it 10 years back in time, there would be so much vocabulary in this movie that people would be like, what are you talking about? I have no idea what's going on. Like they make jokes of like he has cardboard cutouts of celebrities, and it's like the three Chris's that are like the most popular. Like Chris Pratt, Chris Evans, the most popular Chris's right now, which is just very like a now thing, you know? Which I thought was very funny. But then they're also dropping words like Riz. And
that's the thing is like they're bringing in teenagers.
Yes, it's very, very fitting. But I was just thinking,
you know what? I had a similar thought too, where I was like, is this going to be as good 5 years later?
Exactly.
Or is it going to be like a weird time capsule thing?
Yes. Yeah. That's what I was seriously wondering is if you took this out of time, like how is that going to hold up? You know, because it's like what. Yeah. Like 10 years from now, it's like, what's Riz? I don't know. What is that? Exactly. I don't know.
Honestly, like 10 months from now.
Yeah, right? When our entire vocabulary has changed. Yeah, and then the only thing I'd say that I was left wishing that I got a little bit more personality division between each turtle.
Okay, that's fair.
I was kind of wishing, like, I wasn't like super into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as a kid, or like I haven't watched a lot of the movies or TV shows or anything, but like I've picked up on lore kind of like through the years on like how cool their different personalities are. And like I remember seeing this one thing where someone was like saying how like the weapons that they have are very specific to their personalities and how like they actually exactly counter like what their personalities are like and forces them to like challenge themselves. And I was just left wishing like, I wish I like got a little bit more of
division and separation.
Each of these turtles are and like what their struggles are like interpersonally a little bit more. And like, obviously you have the big group struggle of like, they want to fit in and all that stuff. But like, yeah, I was left wishing for a little bit more individuality. I think the four.
Fair. Yeah.
I think they ended up making the choice to leave that to the audience of having some prior knowledge there, which I think is a fine choice. It might have like slowed the movie too much to try and add that much into it. Because they already have a lot going on, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say that was the only thing I wanted a little bit more of was division between them.
Yeah, I kind of agree and also disagree. Like, I get where you're coming from. I don't think I desired more of that, but I get that complaint, or I get that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's a sequel thing or something, you know.
Yeah, I don't know.
You divide them up a little bit more or something. But
dang.
Yeah, man. Dude, great movie.
It's been a series of home runs lately on this
review. Has been.
Honestly, I'm like, my next recommendation, I'm really going to push it. Because I'm like, it's been a lot of safe home runs.
Safe bets?
We got it. Safe bets.
Yeah.
Safe home runs. That is not, you should start your own list for me. That's just sayings that aren't real sayings.
I have started a list of things Nora says.
Oh, good. Yay. We were talking about this.
Yes. Yeah. So her vocabulary is already getting too good. Like I missed my window of very ridiculous things she used to say. But I've started recording a couple, and maybe I'll bring them to the podcast.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
All right, give me a review.
Yeah, I have to say I looked up the like Metacritic score for this movie, and they gave it a 7 out of 10, and I feel like that is far too low.
I would agree.
I feel like that's real low. Metacritic, what are you doing?
Why are you being so stingy?
So I know I have to be above 21 teeth because that would match. That would match that. I think I'm easily above 21. I think. Man. I think I'm gonna go a solid. What it's 32 out of 32. Yeah. I think I'm going a solid 29. Dang. 29 teeth. I legitimately want to rewatch this movie, and I watched it yesterday. Yeah. I already want to rewatch it because I feel like there's.
What rating did we give Claws?
Oh, I think Claws was up there for me.
So this is where the rating's so hard.
It's very difficult
because it's like
everything ends up being a 29.
Well, and it's like it's also like this is the bet. Like I think we were thinking Claws from the like perspective of Christmas movies.
Claws, I gave it 10 out of 10. I think I gave Claws 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
I did. That's what our notion says, at least. I don't know what I said in the actual episode.
lot of high scores lately.
Yeah. We've been really we've gotten it dialed in, I think. Don't worry, I'll throw a stinker in there somewhere.
Yeah, Nick D, I think, was the last.
That was the last stinker.
Like really bad one.
Yeah.
Even Uncut Gems, that got a B basically, an 80%.
Which one?
Uncut Gems.
Yeah, I mean that was a good movie. It was a good movie. Yeah, but yeah, I think I'm sticking with 29. Yeah,
29.
Yeah.
Dang. All right.
Yeah.
That's a really good review.
I really enjoyed it. It was a great movie. I want to rewatch it. Yeah. I hope there's a sequel. I really want to see more movies that like really like carve out their own area and style, you know?
And
like,
I think we're going to see more of that, and I'm really excited
I
for
hope
it.
so. I hope so. Yeah, I've actually, this has kind of hit a topic that I'd love to chat with you about for just a minute.
Let's go for it. Yeah. We can park it here.
I have noticed a lot of people debating the whole animation versus live action kind of thing. Oh. And there's been so many as of late adaptations going back and forth, you know? Like Disney is just cranking out live action versions of their old animated stuff right now.
Yeah.
And vice versa. We're getting like animated versions of movies and TV shows that were live action. Like Scott Pilgrim just got like an animated TV show and stuff.
Which makes sense because it was a manga first or a comic and graphic novel.
Yeah. And I'm just wondering kind of what's your vibe on it? Because I have really landed in the camp where I almost just want everything to be animated. Like, I'm sorry, but like the animated things I'm watching are always so much more intriguing and interesting because you can do so much more with it than the live action stuff. Like, great example, the new Percy Jackson series just got released. It's a live action. And everyone's going crazy for it. Everyone's liking it. I've never been a Percy Jackson person. I haven't watched it.
I saw that on Netflix. I thought they were just reposting
the movie.
No,
this is totally new show.
Oh,
totally new
show
that they're redoing.
I'm a huge Percy Jackson fan.
But I've seen a lot of people saying there's like mystical creatures and crazy magic and all and like gods and like all this stuff going on, and they're like, this would be so much better animated. Like, there's just so much crazy stuff that would be better portrayed and served in an animated format, and they're like wishing for it, you know?
Yeah.
And I just wanted to get your vibe on like, how do you feel about live action versus animated?
I think to make a blanket statement of like, I get what you're saying, but I feel like it really comes down to what's the best vessel or the best medium to tell the story. Like you could do Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live action, which they have done, but you're able to relate with the characters easier because they're animated. Or like I think of like, okay, I think a good example is like The Boys versus Invincible.
You literally just read my mind. I was going to bring that up.
I think those are like
great
occupy
example.
very similar spaces, and like I think they're compared too much, honestly, because in what it really is, it's comic books that are really violent, like comic book heroes that are really violent. But The Boys is trying to bring, like, if a superhero was real, there's no way they would just be like the best person, a good person.
Yeah. There would be super like, corruption.
Everything we see about history is if you give someone a like unlimited power, they're just going to abuse it. So like they need to bring that into reality. And then when horrible things happen to people, when it's real, it just, it stings, it hurts, it feels gross. Yeah. And like that plays into it. Where Invincible, like I don't think it being animated or not animated really adds anything. It's animated because it came from a comic book, so you already have a predetermined style.
Sure.
But I'm not like, I don't feel that it being animated or real necessarily adds anything, in my opinion. Where I think The Boys does. I think the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles does. I think that the Spider-Verse does. Like,
Yep. Okay.
Because now you're able to tell the story through a animation style, not just how things are. I think there's like a level of relatability that comes in, how you want it to impact people. Like Blue Eye Samurai works. I think Blue Eye Samurai could have been done live action and still be really good.
Yep.
But it just, you have more flexibility. There's a different like production thing here. And like, so I'm interested with the Percy Jackson. I think that some are interchangeable, but I think if you're bringing something that has been, like if it has been animated in the past, whether it's a comic book, manga, whatever.
Yeah.
I think a real question needs to be asked of, does it being animated add to
something
it, or does bringing it live action add something to it? And there's not a right or wrong answer, obviously. But like,
okay, so it's case by case basis for you.
I think it's case by case. Like like I said, I think
you really don't feel like you're leaning in either direction.
No, I think I want more live action stuff. I want more animation stuff, but I want them to. I don't want something to be animated just because it was successful live action, and vice versa.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I know there was like an animated The Boys thing, and I was just like, I never watched it. I was like, I don't.
Yeah.
Like, this doesn't add anything to me. And if you're gonna do grotesque violence, it's like it loses its weight now. And like,
yeah, I just
yeah.
If they made a live action Invincible, I would just be like, why?
What's the point? Exactly.
Yeah, like,
exactly.
I think that's really the thing I'm getting sick of is like, oh, let's just flop it to the other version, like do animation or live action, just flop it the other way and it'll be a big hit because the previous version was a big hit. Yeah, it's just so much of that.
It's hard though.
So tired of it
because I think the other thing is when you're talking about a movie, it's one thing, but when you're talking about a TV show, I think you're able to do more. Man, how do I say this? How do I say this without bashing a ton of people and their hard work? Okay, I'll put it this way. I feel like it takes more energy and effort to really do something impactful live action than to animate it. Like both can be done poorly. There's more of a leniency to have something visually boring that's live action than something that's animated. If that makes sense.
Okay.
Like I'm thinking I'm thinking The Witcher right now as a TV show.
Yep.
And I'm like, that animated would be really cool.
Yeah.
But they already made a live action of it. And I think it's generally like whatever visually in a way.
Sure.
Like there's you're playing on the budget of special effects. You're playing on like, so there is this piece where it's like when it's more fantastical and you have a smaller budget, maybe it's not always the best. So, but
then
you also
you're saying go animated.
Not necessarily with that. I will, because that one I go, well, I relate to the characters a lot more because they're real.
Okay.
Because they're more human. So I don't know. And also like Witcher is kind of supposed to be a realistic depiction of fantasy and stuff like.
Okay.
So I think yeah.
Okay.
I'm fine with more of whatever. Like I just
want more original artistry and storytelling. I feel like I'm just getting so tired of the repeat churn out machine kind of thing that everyone seems to be doing, which I know is like everyone's saying that this is not a new idea.
Yeah. But you're finally like, all right, I'm kind of burnt out on it a little bit.
Yeah. Just every time Disney says, "Oh, we're making a live," like they just announced a live action Moana, and I'm like, why? Who's asking for this?
Yeah,
I don't.
Well, no, it's easy. It's a cash grab. Like that's the thing.
I
think I would feel the same way if something was live action. They're like animated now. And it's the same story. But
yes. Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Like the animated The Boys.
The original, the original creators made it for a specific reason with some intentionality. Like,
yep, of course. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, yeah, I just wanted to get your take on that. Yeah.
No,
it's good
chat.
It's been on my mind. Okay, you got some mom phrases for us?
I do.
Okay.
We did Nothing to Sneeze At, Sticky Wicket. This one's it is in the list just because my mom says it so often, but Making It Happen.
Okay.
That's just a classic one.
Of course. Yeah.
But I would say the next like mom phrase is quit hot dogging around.
Quit hot dogging around.
Yep.
Is that just like goofing around? I guess
so. Like quit monkeying around. Would be maybe another way to say that.
I feel like you could just insert anything silly there.
I'm certain. Quit hot dogging around. I'm searching it to see if it's an actual.
It's got to be more specific.
Quit hot dogging around is an idiom that means you're going to crash if you keep doing it. For example, quit hot dogging on your bike. You're going to crash. Not at all how she used it, to be fair.
It's a little more specific, I guess.
Informal noun that means performing intricate, daring, or flamboyant stunts. It can also be used as an adjective to mean cocky.
Okay. So it's more like dangerous stunt related. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like, Han Solo, like, stop being cocky. Stop hot dogging around. Like you're showing off, I guess.
Okay. I got you. Okay.
The earliest known use of the word hot dogging is in the 1910s, and the Boston Globe's earliest evidence is from 1917.
Okay.
So quit hot dogging around, Glenn.
Okay. Well,
quit hot dogging around and give me a recommendation.
Okay. So my recommendation is this is actually like kind of listener submitted, kind of not. So my wife Holly has been asking me to bring this thing to the podcast for a little bit now,
and I do want to say before we do, because she's like, I have a recommendation. I was like, you should come on, and then she said, I just like really don't want to be in the room when you're reviewing it.
Yes.
And I felt that's like, I get it, but like I'm just imagining like we hit cut, we hang up, and then you just like you're walking out of the room crying and be like, he didn't like Jujutsu Kaisen, and you're like, this is what he said, and this is how he tore it apart. Which I'm
here for. That's the show.
I know. But then also on that, you've been sending me TikToks lately of like a guy explaining how boring Jujutsu Kaisen fighting is, and I'm like, Glenn's understanding. He's getting it.
And I did admit to you the other day that I am having trouble watching Jujutsu Kaisen now because of your comments have gotten into my head now, and it's kind of ruined the show for me. I'm still watching it. I'm still enjoying it, but like there is a little bit of edge taken off because I'm like, oh man, Ryan's right.
Ruined it. All right, so this is
she wanted me to bring this thing.
This is Holly's recommendation with a Glenn-shaped blast shield around it.
Yes. I'll take the heat in the review, and I have already listened to it. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it is a podcast. This will be our first podcast on our podcast.
All right.
But it is I guess short form podcast. Is that what it's called? It's not like a running series. It's like
it's like a serial.
Yeah. It's produced by Serial and This American Life is like the production company overhead. But yeah,
I've listened to this.
It's called S-Town.
I've heard of it.
Okay.
I have not.
Yeah, it's a podcast called S-Town. And I believe what happened.
S-Town is a podcast hosted by Brian Reed from the Serial Productions, a New York Times company. The story. So it's not Gimlet. Okay. The story follows a man named John who despises his Alabama town and decides to do something about it. He asks Brian to investigate the son of a wealthy family who's allegedly been bragging that he got away with murder, but then someone else ends up dead. The search for the truth leads to a nasty feud, a hunt for hidden treasure, and an unearthing of the mysteries of one man's life.
Yeah. So S-Town stands for Shittown, Alabama. And I think this is kind of like he does investigative reporting on like murders in a different podcast. And this like came up, but like didn't fit that normal podcast. So it's kind of a spin-off documentary kind of thing.
So this is all real. This is all real.
Yes. This is like a documentary style podcast. Like,
got it.
It is him talking to people and interviewing people and trying to figure out what's going on. But this, it felt like very like classic murder mystery.
Yeah.
Kind of vibes where he's going to go investigate this murder that like apparently no one's looking at and the cops have overlooked, that very classic kind of vibe. But this podcast just takes twists and turns every single episode where to the point where I'm like, I didn't like like, I didn't even know I was listening to this kind of podcast. Like the type of podcast that it is twists, you know, like it doesn't even stay in its own genre from time to time, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Like it's not like murder mystery twists. It's like, oh, this isn't like a murder mystery anymore. This is like a totally different thing now all of a sudden, that kind of thing.
Oh, I dig that.
But yeah, just every episode was so intriguing, and like it dives so deep into people that are so different from me. If that makes sense. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Like it feels like you're being transported to another world that like, this doesn't even feel like I'm listening to a story about people on Earth anymore. But like, this is in Alabama. Like this is like, I could drive to this place and be there in a day.
Far from this kind of world or reality.
Yeah, it makes you realize like how big and vast and different the people of Earth are. You know, it's just there's so many different kinds of people living so many different kinds of lives, and it's just so wild to like really just step into someone else's life for a second.
Yeah,
you know. I think it's 8 episodes. Each episode ranges from like 45 minutes to an hour and a half, kind of depending.
Okay.
I think the climax episode's a little longer, at like an hour and a half. But yeah, it just drew me in so quickly, and I'm sure like Holly would be like raving about it in like completely different ways too. Cause she's the one that showed it to me. She was trying to get me to listen to it for so long, and I was like, I don't know if I'm like a murder mystery podcast type of person.
It's like, no, it's something, it's different.
And then she was like, no. Like as she was listening, she was like, oh, you gotta listen to it. It's just completely different than what you think it is. And she was right. It's it's awesome. Great.
That's
and
awesome.
And we just like were talking about it for hours, because there's just so much going on in it that it's like, what? You know? Yeah.
Yeah. So I've like listened to podcasts that have been more journalistic, and I really enjoy it because it kind of taps into that documentary style. But I really am excited to try this too, because there's an end in sight. Like Gimlet, which is a different company apparently, has done a series called Startup, which I absolutely loved and like listened to it constantly. But it just kept going and going and going, partially because it was coming out as it was happening. So this will also be nice to know that there's like an end in sight.
Yeah. I kind of want to find more podcasts like this where it's a short form, because I've really been liking TV shows that are like short form, like Bly Manor and Hill House and Midnight Mass, like that whole series that are all made by the same creators, are very much just like, it's one season, then it's over, you know? I've been really enjoying that format in TV, so I kind of want to find more of that in podcast form. Because I just love when everything's like wrapped up really nice. It doesn't feel like it's like stretching on forever and it's losing quality, you know? Like you just listen until you feel like the quality has dipped low enough that you don't care anymore, that kind of thing. Like, I want the quality to just stay high and end.
It knows.
I would much prefer that.
You don't have to decide that. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
No, I'm really excited to check it out. I'm gonna really try and listen to all of it.
Yeah. If you can, I would definitely do it. Yeah. Because it's only 8 episodes, so I think roughly 8 to 10 hours.
I could do that. Just play it on a workout or whatever.
Yeah.
When I'm not listening to funk.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, S-Town. Check it out. I think it's like available everywhere podcasts, you know. I think there's an S-Town website that you can pull it up on and just listen to it on their website if you wanted to. I think it's pretty easy to find.
All right, so I'm going to listen to S-Town, come back with a review. I have a feeling it won't be a roast.
We'll see.
I have a feeling I like it, but who knows? We'll see. Maybe Glenn will have to take one for the fam.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, if you don't like it, I'll just sit here and take it, and maybe if you do like it, I'll pull Holly in.
Yeah,
here.
I heard. Quick, coming. He liked it.
Wait, he liked it.
Yeah. All right. I'm Ryan signing off.
I'm Glenn signing off. Pawn to D5,
and we'll see you in 2 weeks.